The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is liberating. It's freeing. It's the kind of game that you can just laze around on a Sunday and play in your pants. And I'm not just talking about you, I'm talking about Link as well. But that's not really the path that you need to follow to success, unless you are one of the best players in the world. So you really should put on some clothes at some point if you hope to defeat this game's rendition of Ganon. There's so much about this game that's different to those that have come before in Zelda's storied 31-year history, but the thing that sticks out for me is that Link can be a bit of an arse if you want him to be, and that Nintendo have almost embraced that within their game. There's snarky and funny little dialogue options when you talk to other characters, many of which will elicit some kind of silly little response as well. But even when there isn't that side of things, you can just say goodbye and exit the conversation stage left, and that just feels brilliantly abrupt. There is, for example, the old man that you meet very early on as you come out of the cave for the first time. He tries to point you in the right direction, but there's a little gentle humour to the way that he notes the average player's kleptomaniacal tendencies when you pick up an apple nearby him. Of course, if you find his house, you can then rob him of everything he's got in there and read his diary, which I actually would advise you try and do. So many of the gameplay mechanics that are new to the series have been blended together in rather playful ways as well. One moment that caught me by surprise was how a bokoblin was swiping with his spear to try and hit me, but it passed through the fire of a flaming club left by his recently departed comrade, only for it to catch fire, then hit me and set me on fire as well. It's this kind of interconnected play that you're going to see all of the time as you play Breath of the Wild, and there's a steady stream of surprises waiting for you as the individual parts come together in new and interesting ways. The world itself is very open and freeform as well, with the ability to climb almost any surface you can see to the height that your stamina will allow you to, and the Great Plateau hides many secret areas to discover as you gain new Sheikah Slate abilities. This is in addition to the handful of shrines and the bokoblin camps dotted around the map. In fact, you could literally spend a good few hours just exploring this area and not really progress the story in any way. The Sheikah Slate is pretty integral to the game's puzzling. On the one hand, you've got an unlimited supply of bombs, as long as you can happily wait for the cooldown, which is about 10 seconds, I think. Then there's the ability to lift and move metal objects, raise blocks of ice from the water, and a couple of other things as well. And puzzles will be in so many different places throughout the world. There's tons and tons of shrines dotted around the landscape as the most obvious instances, but there's also more than a few puzzles just in the environment itself. How do you get to the two chests on a little platform in the middle of a tar pit, for example? Well, I am not allowed to spoil it for you, but you will definitely have to think outside of the box on that one. Honestly, Breath of the Wild is just the kind of game that you could lose yourself in. You might have an objective marker way off there in the distance, but you can absolutely ignore that and head off in a completely different direction if you want. As soon as you get down from the Great Plateau, you can just follow your heart's desire and go north or south. There's no prescribed orders to the game's dungeons either. At the same time, if you do decide to follow the main quest line and head to each objective marker in turn, it's still incredibly easy to find yourself distracted by an unusual looking circle of rocks. Oh, and then there's a bokoblin in the distance who's riding a horse, and you haven't got a horse yet, but you want a horse because that's just going to make getting around so much easier. But before you get there, you're just attacked by this swarm of bat-like things, and wait, what was I doing again? Oh yeah, I was just saying how easy it is to get distracted in this game. I will leave you with a good few minutes more of Breath of the Wild gameplay, but this is where I will say goodbye. So do a like, do a subscribe, do a checking out of our Nintendo Switch unboxing and setup video, and I hope you will visit us again soon, whether that's on YouTube or over on the 6thAxis.com. I mean, we will have a few Nintendo Switch reviews going up next week, so hopefully we will see you then. Goodbye.